Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You know, this Lily J situation has exposed a lot about Muslim men, Middle Eastern men in particular. You know, if you look in the comment section, they're saying all of these negative things about Lily J, and this supposedly supposed to be a people of peace from a religion of peace. But no, the racism, the misogynistic tone. You know, you see these comments and you're like, these people are supposed to be Muslims, and the Zionists and the Christians are having a field day looking at all of this infighting. Aren't we meant to cover one another's sins? That's what I thought. But you know, the more videos I make and you guys jump in my comments, I really just realized that you guys are just abdools, which means an ignorant Middle Eastern person. And I'm sorry if your name is Abdul and you're actually a good person, but that's what we have to call these people now. We have to separate them from regular good Middle Eastern people. You see, the regular good Middle Eastern people are the ones that saying, give the Sister Lily J a chance. You know, let's wait until all the evidence come out. These are the good Middle Eastern men, and I apologize to you guys in advance. But what I'm about to say is going to be very harsh and critical because I'm tired of these Middle Eastern men trying to force their culture on everybody else. Let's start here. Sisters, if you're a hijabi or a woman that are frankly tired of these men telling you what you should do, you should want to listen. I encourage you to go follow the Sister Aya. You know, she got in trouble because a Middle Eastern man slid in her inbox, and then she outed him. And then the Ummah decided to turn on her and call her devil and call her very sinful things instead of supporting her. And this is what makes women rebel. This is what makes women rebel when a woman tell you something and you don't believe it. You know, we had this thing in America where children get abused, they get molested by just say their uncle. And then it happens once, it happens twice. The kid tells the dad, oh, he wouldn't do anything like that. You're just making it up. It happens 3 times, it happens 4 times. Then she ponies up the courage to tell her teacher. The teacher tells the police. The uncle goes to jail. When the uncle goes to jail, the child is sad. He was good to me, except for when he would abuse me. You can't feel sorry for somebody that abuses you. And this is the issue with a lot of Middle Eastern women who defend these misogynistic ways by these men. These Middle Eastern men are sick. They are sick, and I'm not talking about the good people. I'm talking about the abdools. But they're sick. If you look in the comment section, these guys are very controlling. They're manipulating, and they're always telling women what to do. Women in Saudi, I don't even know, can't even drive, can't even go to the store by themselves. They have to be in company of a man. Why can't they be in company of 3 or 4 other women? That's misogynistic and that's oppressive. And this is why the West has an issue with Islam. It's not because of the Quran, it's not because of Islam in itself, but it's because of Middle Eastern man. But the problem with that is Middle Eastern man represent Islam. When people think of terrorists, they think of a Middle Eastern man. They don't think about Zainab from Indonesia or Zainab from Africa. They think about people from the Gulf. The Gulf represents Islam, whether we want to say it or not. And people from the Gulf have a sense of superiority. Think about this, my Pakistani brothers. Why do you have a Arab name? Why is your name Abdul? Why is your name Usman? Because you've been Arabized and you don't even realize it. You speak Urdu, you have your own culture, but everything that you're doing Middle Eastern Arabian customs, right? One time I was drinking from a cup, and the guy goes, oh, you know, that cup has a cat on it. That's haram. Nowhere in the Quran does it say drinking from a cup with a cat on it is haram. But this is Middle Eastern customs, and this is Middle Eastern culture. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it. I reject it wholeheartedly. If you're an African man with a name like Muhammad, you're brainwashed. You're crazy. If you're an African man with a French name, you're brainwashed. You're crazy. You need to get your names back. Figure out what your ancestors used to be called and go by that. But from here on out and today, stop doing these Arabic practices because Africa doesn't need Middle Eastern customs. We love Islam, but we don't need their customs, right? You're wearing the kutub, you're wearing a thobe, you're drinking your tea like this, you're speaking Arabic. Everything that you do reflects what Arabics do in the Middle East, but yet they don't like you, and you still want to behave like them. It's a crazy brainwashing, and you need to unbrainwash yourself. Because if you take away the Arabic out of Africa, you take away the thobe, the kutub, you take away their customs, you still have a rich culture. Our people still have a rich culture. Same thing that applies in America. If you take Arabic away from these learned Middle Eastern man, and you take away the thobe and the kuta, America still has its own culture. But think about this: if you start taking away Arabic out of the Middle East, then you have no Quran, you have no customs, because Middle Eastern or Saudi Arabian culture is synonymous with Middle Eastern customs, or with the Quran, or with the Hadith. A Middle Eastern man taught people how to behave. And you're behaving like Middle Eastern people in America when you walk around with that dress on, when you're drinking your cup from the right hand. It does not tell you this in the Quran. It doesn't say this is not a thing you should do, but a Middle Eastern man taught you this. Answer me this, right? When you speak about slavery, and you speak about racism, or the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said no superiority over a Arab over a Frenchman. Listen, man, it's just not true. Prophet Muhammad also said 3 centuries from now, my Ummah will be unrecognizable. And that's very true, because when the Prophet Muhammad passed away a century later, Arabic man loaded up a bus and they went into East Africa and West Africa, kidnapped slaves, castrated Africans, brought them back to Arabia for free labor. And they did that all the way into the 20th century. So don't you tell me that Islam was not spread by the sword, or don't you tell me that Islam is not racism. Because while Islam was being spread, this is what was being taught. There's certain hadiths, there's sayings where we got these scholars that are saying very racist things about black people, comparing a black man to the devil. If you want to see the devil, look at this black man. It's just sick. And then you have the women, like I said, who are just brainwashed. Sister, you have to lift yourself up and stop listening to these Middle Eastern sickos. The West doesn't like you, you Middle Eastern man. London, they trying to get you guys, they boycott you guys. And in America, they're doing the same thing. Why? Because of your ways. Because of your ways, because of the way that you act. The things that you think okay are not okay with everybody else, right? So here on out, from today on, I'm rejecting the Sunniism. I'm thinking about looking into Shiism, but as of right now, I'm definitely rejecting Sunniism, because what happened to the Shia, what happened to Ali radiallahu anhu, may Allah be pleased with him, was a dirty, trifling thing. You guys definitely did the Shia wrong. And I can attest to that, and I can admit it. I know why Shia men are upset with Sunni men to this day, because you did them dirty. We know Ali, rightfully so, should have been the next caliphate. We know that. But that's history, and that's the way things go, right? I was in this place called Children's Palace the other day, and I said salam alaikum to this Asian Indonesian sister, right? I'm thinking, yeah, she's Indonesian. Pretty sure she's gonna send us salams back. She didn't send salams back. She was with another friend, and we're in a public place. So I get around on the side of her, and I say salam alaikum, and she still didn't say it, but her friend said it. It was really weird. So this is what I mean when I say racism was spread during the conquest of Islam, because not alone do you have these Middle Eastern people that are severely racist, now you have these other people who are racist as well. And it needs to be changed. It needs to be undone. The Ummah has an issue with racism. And the only way that we solve it is we talk about it and we call people out. I'm gonna provide you guys with a link from my guy Marquette, who's a Muslim, but he's just like me. He's rejecting that Sunniism and Wahhabism and things like that, and he's just obeying Allah. But he has a video that says Islam is not for black people, and he explains why. So if you have enough courage, watch the video. This video would not disappoint you. I swear to God, it would not disappoint you. But anyway, that's my time. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Trying to think, was there anything that I missed? Nope. I talked about slavery. I talked about Middle Eastern men and their habits. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I know people don't like to hear this. If you're a good Middle Eastern person, you guys don't like to really hear the truth. But that's just what it is. Like, in order for us to move forward, we have to recognize that things happen and they were bad and that they're still going on. Peace and blessings.